Okay, girls, so this is paper 3. This is the would be the third exam you do. So you have the written paper 1, paper 2, and then this will be paper 3. You have 2.5 hours to complete it. So I've downloaded this one. I haven't looked at it, so I'm basically doing it for the first time. Okay, so your evidence document, that's where you would keep your screenshots. It is worth actually getting into the practice of doing that now, I would say. So just open up. It does say open the evidence file RTF. It probably is actually at this stage worth doing that. So there will be a folder on your desktop, or I'll email you the folder, and you would just double click. I have noticed recently there was an exam question about what an RTF file is, or the difference between that and say a .txt file. Long story short, rich text format is what it stands for, and normally though they're quite big files normally, whereas a .txt file would be a smaller file, but we can go into that in more detail. And that's it. Okay, so that's what we've got. Okay, question 11, evidence 1. Okay. Okay, so I'm looking at this for the first time. So a web page, you will have all these files here, which will be in a folder. Like I say, you don't have to use these JPEG images. You could always just download your own ones if you want to make it more interesting for yourself. Okay, so it says here, create a new folder called m16.8_html. So I'm guessing you'll know how to do that. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go through this exactly as you would on the day. HTML. Okay. Unfortunately, you have to do it exactly as the exam says, really. Locate the following files. Okay. So you would then put all your images into that folder. Okay, I'll do the same thing. I'll drag that and drag that. If it says thumbs, don't worry about that. I drag it in anyway. Okay, so the first thing, it says create a web page called that. Now the program you'd use is WD Dreamweaver. Okay, girls, I've skipped forward a little bit. So it might have jumped a bit there, but basically what you've got to do is create a table. To make a table, it's just insert and table. Okay, and you'll end up with, and when you do that, you just have to kind of count how many rows and columns you've got. So and then you're going to merge some together. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 rows and about 3 columns. So you'll start with that. Dreamweaver. Okay, so you start with that, and then you just merge them together. So I'm actually just going to undo and undo. Okay, just do a lot of undos. Okay, so it will start with something like that, and then you're just going to right click and do table merge cells. So you just right click. I think the top row is 1. No, it's not. Okay, it's the bottom row. I'm just going to undo it. Command Z. So the bottom row is 1 row, and okay, so that one. So you just highlight those ones, right click, table merge cells, and you'll see the HTML on the left is then changing as well. I think that's it. Okay, so that one needs to be 1. So you just left click, highlight them both, and do table merge cells. If you didn't mean to do it, you should be able to right click and do table. There you go, split cell. So you can then split it back into 2 columns if you ever needed to do that. Alright, so what you've got to do is, this is 300, so you look at that, 300 width, 1000 height. So I'll click on there. You have this properties window down the bottom. If you haven't, just do window and properties near the top. Okay, right there. Just go back in. So it's width 300, height 1000. Okay. All right. And then this one here, 600 width, 200 height. 600 width, 200 height. Okay, now it hasn't done the width. You can do quite a few things you could do. You could actually just pull that out. The danger of that is if I click on that cell, it hasn't actually, it's just, I think it's made it about 191, is that? Okay. That's that cell there, so it is height. So it's actually done quite a strange thing by just pulling that. It does actually change the previous cells. And it's worth doing this, showing you this, because when you're in HTML, you can either put it into this properties window, so you can click on a cell and then change the size there by the height and the width. It would actually be quite good even if you could just get in the habit of, you know, understanding that you can change the HTML and then that does the same thing. And just to give you that bit more confidence, I'm just going to go back to it. So it's 300. Okay, so it's 300 width, 1000 height. So if I want to change that back, I can click in that cell. See, I've clicked a few times and it highlights. That's what it is at the moment. Okay, so I could just change that back to 300. Okay, it's done it. If I did, or I could even just change it in here. So that's then going to be okay. So you can just change in there. So I'm going to click back in this one. This one should be 200 height, which it is, but it didn't put the width in. Okay, even now it's not a problem. What you could do is just highlight that, copy it, and paste it. But even if you just hit your space bar, and what you want to do is change the width, so you just type W in, and it's there. So you can click on that, double click, and what was it, 600? Okay, it's done it. So just be it's confidence. So just if it all screws up on the right hand side, just look at the code. The code is very simple. It's not even code, it's just HTML. It's just like a very simple kind of language. Alright, let's do this quickly. So the rest are 300. Okay, most of them, that one's there. Okay, 300 by 300 and they're 300 by 300, so it alternates. Okay. Okay, 300 by 300. So this should work. I should be able to just 300 by 300. Okay, has worked. Now this one is tiny. Okay, I'm just going to click on there. 300 by 300. So now the downside is the table's getting big. I'm going to zoom out a bit. Okay, that's it. Worked that time. You could even be quick. Again, I'm just showing you stuff you don't need to do it. But if you're not confident with HTML, if you really think on the day you're not going to be too confident about copying bits of code, you know, it should work with this height and width. Okay, but again, if you're not sure, then the next one is 300 by 100. Okay, so width 300, height 100. So what I could do, that bit there, this doesn't really mean anything. It's just like a little bit of filler, just so you know it's a bit of space. If you wanted to, you could even copy a bit of code there and just try and paste it in there. Okay, and see, it's worked. But the downside is it would work, but I've got to have a closing, kind of like a closing tag there. See, it's worked now. It just depends on how sort of confident you are. Okay, I'm making this longer than it probably should be. Right, how are we doing? 10 minutes. Okay, sorry girls, I'm speeding up now. Alright, so this one actually I got that wrong, sorry. That should be height 100. Okay, now it's back. So that's height 100. So for this one here, it would be width 300, height 100. Okay, going well now, so I'll do, this one's 300 by 300. Okay, this one here needs to be 300, and as you're doing this you should then start to see it puts the HTML for you. This one here, width 300, height 100. That one I'll do the same, 300 by 100. Okay, and the bottom one, so it's done it. Okay, again, just on the date, you know, you could always just try the HTML code if it starts to screw up a little bit. So 900 by 80 is the bottom one. Width 900 by 80. Okay. You got to look at that. I think, does that look right? No. I think when I dragged it earlier, again, it's just you look at what you've got there, 300 by 1000. Somewhere down the line, this column got changed. I'm just making absolutely certain. So I'm just clicking in each cell and just making sure here is right. Again, it's done. Yeah, that's right. It should be 900. Okay. See, again, this is why I'm doing this without actually rehearsing before, because I was not expecting that. It doesn't actually say width, even though I've put it in. So I'm just going to make absolutely certain by clicking on that and just doing width. A simple reason, I don't know, maybe on the evidence, maybe you have to screenshot it. I don't know, you might have to screenshot the actual HTML code. I don't know, because I deliberately have not read this. Each table is identified. Okay, the borders must not appear. Whoa, that was 11 marks, girls. Look at that, 11 marks. The table borders must not appear on the final page. There's two different ways you could do this. That's the table there. You said border equal 1. So you just change that to 0. The other way, it doesn't look like it's done anything, but it would have done it. If I click here on table, there, and you actually have the properties down here, and it's changed it to 0. Right, save. Okay, I'm going to pause this first step, but that was 11 marks, girls. Oh, I've got to remember also, save it as, what did it say? Okay, create a web page called m16cp.ht. Just call it m16cp. HTML, HTML, just whatever at the moment. It's in Paper3 August example. I think I should have, I think it's on the desktop, the example that I'm using. The folder with all the files, maybe actually, sorry, I've put it in downloads, not good, but there you go, it's in there. This won't happen to you. You'll have nothing on the desktop other than the files, so it will save it just, you'll know where to save it, okay, because it will be desktop and then there'll be a folder in there. I'm going to save that and I'm going to pause this video, but just before I do that I might have time. I'm going to preview in browser, in Chrome, and that's it. That's what I was hoping, because I know there's a table there because if I left click and highlight, but the table border isn't there, so I know I've got 11 marks from doing that. Okay, part 1 done. Thank you.